in the heart of Lagos, where chaos and creativity collide. A young artist from the slums of Ajagunle was about to lose the one thing he thought he couldn't live without: his sight. But what if blindness wasn't the end, but the beginning? This is not just a story about art. It's about rebirth, struggle, and survival. About finding vision in darkness. About turning pain into power. From candlelit canvases to a gallery that changed Africa forever. This is the story of John Oladipo, the blind painter who taught the world to feel again. Watch the full story. Blinded, but his art shines brighter than ever. If you're just tuning into this channel, please subscribe to this channel and give this story a thumbs up, and also tell us where you are watching from. Lagos, Nigeria. A city that never sleeps. Hawkers shout at every corner. Yellow buses honk endlessly. Skyscrapers tower over slums. And art lives on every wall. And in the middle of this chaos was John Oladipo, a young artist from Ajagunle, the ghetto where dreams are born but rarely survive. John had a gift. His paintings were technically flawless. He could capture the smallest details: the sweat on a street vendor's forehead, the shine of Okada headlights on a rainy night, every ray of sunlight bouncing off a window, even the sadness buried in a stranger's eyes. But there was a problem. His art was flawless, yet lifeless. Critics praised his technique, but whispered the same word: soulless. John hated that word, soulless. He'd stay up all night, brush in hand, staring at his canvases until frustration boiled over. John didn't know it yet, but Lagos was about to strip him of everything he thought he needed, only to give him a new kind of vision. Ajagunle wasn't easy. No constant light, no quiet streets. John painted by candlelight, the hum of generators shaking his windows. His room was filled with canvases no one could afford to buy. Every rejection letter from Lagos galleries burned like fire in his chest. One night, he muttered to himself, "Maybe if I paint with my left hand, they'll call it abstract." But in his quiet moments, he knew the truth. His art was perfect, but it wasn't alive. He laughed bitterly, but his heart ached. That was when he noticed it: the blur. Streetlights on Third Mainland Bridge smeared like melting candles. He rubbed his eyes. It didn't go away. The world was beginning to dim. He took some drug, self-medications, still the same. He went to the hospital after some days. At Lagos University Teaching Hospital, the doctor delivered the blow. "John," the doctor said gently, "you have a rare degenerative eye condition. Within a year, you may lose your sight completely." His world stopped. The words echoed like gunfire in his chest. Blindness. For an artist? In a city where even the sighted struggled to survive? Back in Ajagunle, John snapped. Rage consumed him. He smashed brushes, tore canvases, hurled paint against the wall. Days blurred into nights. He lay on the floor of his room, staring at the ceiling, thinking maybe it was better if he wasn't here at all. Locked himself inside. One night, blindfolding himself, he tried painting just to see what it felt like. The result was a chaotic mess. He tried to paint. He forced a laugh. Picasso way drink bureau kutwo. But when the laughter faded, so did the light inside him. Fate, however, wasn't done with John. At a rehabilitation center in Surulere, he met Marcus, a blind sculptor with calloused hands and a booming laugh. Marcus handed John a lump of clay and said, "My brother, when you stop using eyes, you will start using your heart." John scoffed. "Easy for you to say. You never lost your sight." Marcus smiled. "Who told you? I was not born blind. I lost it, but I gained vision." Marcus guided John's hands across the curves of a sculpture. For the first time, John felt art. He wasn't looking at it. He was experiencing it. That night, John sat in his small Ajagunle studio, holding clay. It collapsed in his hands. He cursed. Tried again. Failed. Weeks turned into months. John began experimenting like a mad scientist. Suddenly, he began to feel every curve, every edge. For the first time, he wasn't chasing perfection. He was chasing truth. John became obsessed. He painted to the sound of talking drums, letting rhythm guide his strokes. He mixed spices into his work: ginger, pepper, palm oil, art you could smell as much as touch. Ajagunle neighbors laughed. calling his studio a suya stand. John laughed too. For the first time, he felt alive. One day, he unveiled a textured painting. A visitor closed their eyes, ran their hands across the canvas, and wept. For the first time in his life, John realized people weren't just seeing his art. They were feeling it. It was a rebirth. Word spread beyond Ajagunal. His works reached Ikoyi, Lekki, Victoria Island. Clips of John creating blindfolded went viral. Invitations poured in. He was called to speak at galleries. Social media caught fire. The blind painter from Ajagunal who makes art you can feel. But not everyone believed. But Lagos critics were merciless. This is sympathy art, nothing more. One gallery even refused to showcase him. At an exhibition on Victoria Island, a blind girl touched John's painting and whispered, "It feels like freedom." The hall went silent. The critics were disarmed. From that day, his art sold out. His story traveled across Africa, then the world. His work wasn't just art anymore, it was testimony. At one talk in Johannesburg, John joked, "The good thing about being blind is not seeing the critics rolling their eyes." The room erupted with laughter. John didn't stop at success. He built the Vision Gallery in Lagos and the first sensory art gallery in Africa, where both blind and sighted could experience art equally. On opening day, his mother walked through the gallery. She touched his work, tears streaming. She had once feared blindness would destroy him. Instead, it had crowned him. John stood before the crowd, politicians, celebrities, street kids from Ajagunal all together, and spoke with quiet strength. "I thought blindness ended my art. But Lagos taught me, vision is not in the eyes. It's in the heart. I may not see the city anymore, but the city will always see me." From the slums of Ajagunal to the galleries of Victoria Island, John's story is not about blindness. It's about courage. About losing what you thought defined you only to discover your true gift hiding beneath it all. And it also proof that Africa is not just a place of struggle, but of rebirth. True vision is not about what your eyes can see. It's about what your spirit dares to create. If you like this story, hit the like button, subscribe, and comment.